area of Town Creek. Let's go ahead and listen into that. That's where 2 deaths occurred last night.
Well, basically, like most zones that's been struck and devastated by a tornado, this is no different from that. You have victims' possessions, victims' homes destroyed, and victims devastated, and that's exactly what the scene looks like, is devastation.
When do you plan on opening up for people to go see the damage that's back there?
Sure. We're considering keeping the road closed through the night, tonight, and possibly tomorrow. Right now, the biggest effort seems to be with the electric company, Joe Wheeler, who has been magnificent. I can't express how much help they have been and how vital they are to this operation here. So going forward, we're looking for tomorrow, possibly, for the opening of the road. I don't know exact time. We're just trying to evaluate, every couple of hours as we make progress, and we speak with the victims and their needs as well, and that's priority. I mean, we're here for them, so we're going to do whatever's in their best interest, and if it's in their best interest to keep the road closed even for the week, hopefully it won't get to that point, but if it is, if that's their need, then that's what we're going to do, because we, to be quite honest, we're having a really difficult time with people just kind of wanting to look, curious seekers, and it's just taking up a lot of time for that. So whatever the need for the victims is that we do not, and some of that's going to kind of taper off, hopefully, then we'll look at opening it up then.
Can you talk a little bit about the 2 deceased victims that were found outside of their home last night?
I can talk a little. I can confirm, their death. There was a 3rd victim in that household, and that was a young child, and he is still in very serious condition, is the last word that I had, and that was about an hour ago.
Are we going to need to talk to Scott Norwood for the names?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, he's actually, I'm not sure if he's actually released the victims' names.
Okay, and you've been listening to
not.
Town Creek's Chief of Police,
So he would
Jerry
be the better
Garrett,
person
there,
to
giving
talk
an
to
update
that.
onto the situation
He's
there
got all
in
of that
his community after those
So
strong storms
he would
ripped
visit
through
Chris
Town
Lee
Creek
to sort
yesterday.
that.
Again, that is the area. County Road 265 is the road they were referencing that they are going to keep closed just because of how serious and dangerous it is. Debris scattered everywhere down power lines right now. County Road 265, that is the same location where a husband and wife, we've learned, died last night in their home. A 3rd person was in the home, their 7-year-old son. You just heard the Chief of Police say there that the son is in Birmingham at Children's Hospital there in serious condition right now. Again, very tragic situation out there. Everybody really working through the emotions after hearing of that loss of life out there, and several more people seriously injured in those storms. Our own Casey Albritton has been out in Lawrence County
There was another gentleman
for
across
us
the
this
road
morning.
that
She is
caused
there.
the
Let's go
son
ahead. We're actually going to take
of
you back
the
into that
two
news
fatalities.
conference. Let's go ahead and listen to the police chief.
Can you describe some of the cleanup efforts or the next steps of this going forward?
Sure. We've had quite a few people reaching out, which we are grateful for. However, we've kind of had to turn that down at the moment. We will eventually get to that, though. Right now, it's just kind of too early for people to get in there and start to clean up as desperately as they want to, and we want them to be able to. But right now, it's still too dangerous. There's emergency workers still in there that's conducting numerous different types of investigations, if you will, different law enforcement agencies, and also the electrical company is still out there with some big heavy equipment, and the area is just really unsecure still. So.
You said 4 or 5 injured.
Okay, there were 2 fatalities, 4 injuries. There were some other injuries that just weren't to the point of of hospital treatment or having to go to the hospital. So there's more injuries than just the 4 as
So
far
there's
as
4 people hospitalized. for
that's
their
to my
injuries.
that's to my understanding.
And
Yes,
several other could possibly be injured that did not.
there are others that's injured but that did not seek medical treatment.
Is the National Weather Service out here yet?
Sheriff, do you know that answer?
There was a 911. I don't know if they came out here or not, but they're flying a drone, and I think they're trying to make a determination whether or not what kind of tornado it was.
Have they been in communication with you? Do you guys know when they're going to determine the strength of that tornado that came through last night?
They've been working on. They was up at the 911 in Moulton this morning. I hadn't talked to them, but I know some of them are out here right now trying to check the damage. I also want to point out that when you go through and you see some of the damages, the front looks good, but when you go in the back, there's a lot of damage in the back, particularly the way the tornado came. I think there's a trailer right here. You don't see any part of it. All you see is just 2x4s around it. I mean, it's much more damage than we realize, of course. You know, our thing is with the victims and the people that's injured a lot. And again, I want to appreciate all the volunteers we had here, including those that came in from out of county. I mean, it's a community effort. We can't say enough about them.
And now that you've seen the damage in the day, what's the difference from last night to now? Is it worse than you thought last night?
Oh, most definitely. I was dreading that scene all night. As far as daybreak, most definitely, yes.
Can you give us a number on homes destroyed?
I'm guessing, but I'll be around 10 to 12 maybe, but that number could change. And like I said, I was out there a while ago looking around, and in the front it looks good, but then when you pull in the yard and look at the back side, it's just so much more, and tree damage and all. And I think when you go down, you see some too before this trailer's completely wiped out. You also see some of them with a foundation. The houses came off the foundation.
Will media be allowed back there at any point today, just so we can give people that are watching, you said the curious people, you know, that just want to see the damage, can we be that view for them?
I don't know that answer at the moment. We'll assess it later on this afternoon and just see where the electrical company is and see where the other emergency workers are, and just evaluate the scene, and we'll know more at that time.
Is it a safety hazard for people to be back
Sure.
there?
Yes, most definitely. It is.
So are the people who live back there, are they the only ones who are actually being allowed in this area?
Those folks, and they do have 1 or 2 people, maybe a relative or something that's gone in to help them. You know, we've allowed some of those folks in to take maybe a victim a generator, you know, something to that effect, but that's it. That is strictly in and help that victim and then back out. So
How long do you anticipate recovery efforts or damage cleanup efforts to take?
oh goodness, that's a tough question to answer. I don't know. It's going to take a while, even after this initial shock is over with.
I also like to point out the tornado left here and it went kind of behind RKM, which is in court. I think most of the day was just property damage. So they hadn't assessed what happened back there, but it's just not here it went through, but the main thing is right here. And we want to keep the victims in mind. We're trying to comfort them as much as we can.
Can you just describe the emotional toll that something like this has on officers going in and out of this area and knowing what happened here last night?
Sure. It's as you would think that it would be. For example, I did go home for about 2.5 hours this morning and lay down and tried to sleep, but that was a little difficult. So me, just like any of the other officers or any of the other responders that was out here last night or in any situation of this nature, it takes a toll. And it's hard to put into words exactly because those feelings begin to come out. And then when you see the devastation, it's really hard to keep it in. And so when you keep it in, that's difficult as well. So it's not just me that suffers that, it's the sheriff, the deputies, the police officers, the responders. I'm afraid to mention, or try to mention everyone. You've seen the number of people that helped us last night. Every one of those people will suffer from this, some sort of mental challenge to deal with what the devastation that they seen. And my heart goes out to them. Good question.
We all got family, and then we need to keep in mind we also got a child involved. And, we all praying for the child to recover and the other
Sure.
2 victims.
Do you guys have a message that you want to give the people here in Town Creek and throughout Lawrence County who have been impacted by this storm?
Sure.
I think we need to watch the weather forecast. I think what has happened is people watch the weather forecast and they see it so much, and just after a while they ignore it, and then when it hits, it's too late. I just had a big discussion with somebody a while ago. We get the news and we always get this forecast and said, this is what they tell us every time. And then something like this happens, it brings us back to reality.
My message would be, definitely listen to the weather alerts, the weather alarms. You guys do awesome, ladies, all involved with that process. You can pinpoint it down. It seems that was the case, but the bigger message that I would like to, as far as our victims here, and I'm sure the sheriff will agree, all over the county, we are here. I've been out all morning giving out my card with my cell number on it, and all those victims, whatever they need, just call me and I'll make sure that it happens. So that's the biggest message, that we are here, we're not going anywhere, and we'll be through multiple times throughout the day to assist them for days to come.
When's the last time a tornado came through Town Creek?
Well, we've had numerous threats, but the 2011 tornado, we were affected nowhere near the extent that the county was up in the Langtown area, but we were affected by that tornado. So probably that time. I'm just going by memory here. So
For volunteers and organizations that want to reach out, they're watching this and want to come help, what routes do you suggest they take?
I would suggest they could reach out to EMA office, maybe our city hall, or our staging area. Typically, what we've normally done is have the staging area down at the park. So they could come there and get some information as well.
I already have been contacted by one or two volunteer groups. I belong to a number of organizations. I again want to express the appreciation to all the volunteers, including those that came in from out of county. Without them, we wouldn't be here where we are today. And it just shows that the Lawrence County as a community comes together. It takes a group effort. It's not one individual.
Is there anything else you guys would like to add?
We had a young lady last night deliver blankets, brand new, 6 or 7 cases of water, and a whole bag full of hamburgers and chicken sandwiches by herself. She didn't want to leave her name. So that's the kind of people you have here.
We appreciate the news media and appreciate y'all getting out the word. And sometimes we might fuss about it, but we're all on the same side. So we appreciate y'all, and we're not trying to hold stuff back from y'all. We just want to make sure the information we give you is correct, because you got the rumor mill going on Facebook, and it's kind of frustrating sometimes. But we do appreciate you and appreciate you being out in this cold weather.
Most definitely.
We all want to stay on the positive side and learn from this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you just heard there from the police chief of Town Creek, the Lawrence County sheriff there, the community out there in Lawrence County really leaning on one another this morning. You can hear the emotion in those officials' voices right there. They say County Road 265 remains closed at this time. That's the hardest hit area after those storms rolled through last night. We've got 4 people hospitalized, several others injured. Of course, 2 deaths there that happened. They were in a home on County Road 265. It's a security. It's a safety hazard right now, and that is why they're not allowing anybody back there to see that damage. They are working with the local utility company to make sure they can get that area as safe as they can before they begin that recovery process, a long road to recovery out there. They are staging in the park area in Town Creek if you would like to help. Right now, police are asking you just to avoid that area until first responders can get there, assess the damage, and do what they need to do to ensure everyone's safety. We will have much more on team coverage of these recovery efforts throughout North Alabama when Wave 31 News at midday returns.